Houses hold memories and sometimes something more. They stand silent, watching us live our lives. The houses around us, old and new, are repositories of memories, laughter, love, sorrow, loss. These emotions echo within their walls long after the original occupants are gone. But what happens when the energy left behind is not one of peace? What happens when the shadows hold something darker, something sinister? Then, a house becomes more than just a dwelling. It transforms into a haunted house, a place where the veil between our world and the next grows thin. The stories I'm about to share are not from Hollywood movies or campfire tales. These are real-life accounts of people who have lived through the terror of a haunting. Their experiences, filled with unexplained phenomena and chilling encounters, serve as a stark reminder. Some houses hold more than just memories. They hold the echoes of spirits, restless and trapped, unable to find peace. Their stories will chill you to the bone. Sarah, a young woman with an adventurous spirit, purchased the old Victorian mansion at a steal. The house was a grand dame fallen into disrepair, with ornate woodwork and stained glass windows that whispered of a bygone era. She was warned by locals about the house's dark history, whispers of a family that met a tragic end within its walls. Sarah, undeterred, dismissed these as mere folklore. She would soon discover the truth was far more terrifying. From the first night, Sarah felt a presence. Footsteps creaked on the hardwood floors when she was alone. Doors creaked open and slammed shut with no explanation. Then the whispers began. Soft murmurs too low to decipher seemed to follow her from room to room. One night Sarah awoke to the distinct feeling of a cold hand brushing against her cheek. Panic seized her. This was no trick of the imagination. The house was alive. John inherited his grandfather's farmhouse, a sprawling property miles from the nearest town. He had fond memories of visiting as a child, the smell of his grandmother's cooking, the laughter echoing across the fields. But as John began to renovate the farmhouse, a sense of unease settled over him. Tools went missing, only to reappear in impossible locations. Lights flickered and died despite the newly rewired electrical system. One evening, as John worked on restoring the old barn, he heard a blood-curdling scream. Dropping his tools, he ran towards the sound, his heart pounding in his chest. He found nothing, no one. Returning to the house, shaken, John noticed a rocking chair on the porch swaying gently back and forth. It was the chair his grandfather used to sit in, smoking his pipe and watching the sunset. But his grandfather had been dead for 20 years. The dead, it seemed, were not at rest on this farm. Section 4. The Suburban Nightmare. A malevolent presence in suburbia. The Johnson family moved into their suburban home expecting a fresh start. They found anything but. From the outset, their young daughter Emily refused to sleep in her room. She claimed she saw a shadow man lurking in the closet, a figure with glowing red eyes that watched her. Her parents dismissed it as nightmares, until they too began to experience strange phenomena. Objects moved on their own. Disembodied voices whispered their names in the dead of night. The temperature in the house fluctuated wildly, icy chills replaced by oppressive heat. One night a heavy picture frame flew off the wall, narrowly missing Mr. Johnson's head. Terrified, the family called a paranormal investigator, desperate for answers. The investigator's findings were chilling. A malevolent entity, filled with rage and hatred, had attached itself to their home. The Johnsons were living every family's worst nightmare. Section 5. The Coastal Cottage, a haunting by the sea. For years, the quaint coastal cottage stood empty, its windows boarded up, its paint peeling. Locals whispered of a tragedy, a young woman who drowned under mysterious circumstances in the ocean just beyond the cottage's backyard. When a young couple, eager to escape city life, purchased the cottage, they had no idea the tragedy would soon become their own personal horror story. The haunting began subtly. The scent of salt water, heavy and oppressive, permeated the air, even on the calmest of days. The sound of crashing waves echoed through the house at night, even though the ocean was miles away. Then, the apparitions started. The ghostly figure of a woman in a white dress, her long hair obscuring her face, appeared in mirrors, vanished through walls, and stood at the foot of their bed, her cold eyes staring into their souls. The couple soon realized their idyllic retreat was anything but a paradise. It was a prison, haunted by a spirit unable to find peace.